Okay, let's sit over here. Everybody can see my screen?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
Are
it.
you on?
Yes.
All right,
Yep.
I'm gonna make that a little bit bigger. All right, so welcome to our first session of the 2023 fall season. We got a lot of stuff to go through tonight, so I'm going to try to roll through this pretty quick. Some of this material we've already shared with you. We wanted to just review the knee pad slides again from Football Canada. We'll just go through that real quick. Hopefully you've read through it, but it is definitely a conversation that white hats and umpires should be having with the teams, especially in the first couple of games this year. All right. So let's get going. I just want to mention too, we have a number of officials, including Al, at the Simons Riverview High game going on right now. So they won't be on the call, but here we go. 2023 updates. So these are some updates that you need to know heading into the season. We talked about this at the AGM, and the executive has come up with 3 awards that we're going to give out at the end of each season going forward. And again, this is to help with our social media pages and hopefully get some excitement and hopefully get some recruitment out of these posts as well. Okay, so we will be having an official of the year award. That official will be nominated by the membership and voted on by the membership. Okay, we'll have most improved official award. This official will be nominated by the executive and voted by the executive. And we will finally have moment of the year, which is nominated by the membership, voted by the membership. So this could be a number of different things. This could be, something positive that took place during the year. It could be something funny that took place during the year. There's always those moments that could qualify for this. So once we get our nominations at the end of the year, the executive will kind of narrow down to 3, and then the membership will vote on these awards. These awards will also have names assigned to them. We've been talking about it as an executive, but we'll probably wait till our AGM to cement what the names of these awards are. All right. Game fees for 2023 fall season. So in high school, every official's getting a $5 raise essentially. So your referee is going up to $70 an official, and the crew will get $60 per official. Timers and stick crew, $35. That's only for playoff assignments. The AFL fees are $80 and $60. Mileage rates are 45 cents a kilometer. Okay. I just uploaded a document to our Google Drive, and it contains all our rates and our mileages to all the points that we travel to. So feel free to check out that document. It's now on the Google Drive. Any questions here? All right, let's keep going. Evaluations from last year. So one of the things I really want us to improve on heading into this fall is our timing mechanics. When do we kill the clock? Okay. Almost every evaluation that came in last year had some note about improved mechanics for timing. And that's making sure we're stopping the clock when we need to stop the clock. So we're not going to go through all these bullet points tonight, but please take some time before your first games. Go through Rule 1.5, Article 2, when the clock stops, because this is an area we really need to improve on as crews this fall. Any questions or comments on that one? All right, this is going to be fast tonight. Fast. All right. This is the slideshow that I've already sent you guys about the knee pad rules from Football Canada. Okay. Again, I'm not going to go through every slide. You guys have hopefully read through this by now. The main thing that we have to keep in mind as officials this year is the following equipment is mandatory and shall be worn by all players. The equipment shall be designed and manufactured by a professional manufacturer and cannot be altered in any way that will decrease the player's protection. Knee pads in the form of soft padding entirely captured with continuous material or knee protection specifically designed for and insertable in football pants. Knee protection cannot include any strap featuring a buckle, Velcro clip, or strap that could become unfastened during play. So again, please make sure that when we're talking to the coaches in week one, we're talking about this. And
Hey,
yeah,
sorry, just before you go on, I might lose you here in a minute.
okay,
There are 5 teams in our area at St. John who have all had warnings and been instructed on the proper use. Every high school coach in the province has received the document that you sent to them.
yeah,
Your job with game one or exhibition game, whatever it is instruct the players the first time you see it that they're either they need to be covered or we're having kids still, like we just did a scrimmage, I'm just on the way home from it, where we have players coming on without pads on. So if it's a knee pad issue because they're too high, if they pull them down and you have to talk to them every so often, that's not an issue. It's the kids that don't have them there or refuse to pull them down that we need to penalize.
yeah. Good points, Gates.
Ray, what about the situation where there will be players who have had ligament injuries that are wearing a brace? They could have the pad in the pants down over their knee, or they could have they could have the brace underneath, which has Velcro straps. Are
So-
we going to allow those or what?
So here in the here is a couple pictures of what is allowed. So I think the key thing to your question, Bill, is those knee pads need to be 100% covered.
Okay.
Okay. What's going on underneath those pants? I'm not digging to ask questions on that. So if they've got knee braces on and they're covered by their pants, socks, we're good to go.
Okay.
But Ray, can I ask, this new standard, the knee pads don't have to be covered by the pants, do they?
So
Like these volleyball style knee pads don't need to be covered by the pants. Am I correct when I say that?
as long
You are correct.
right,
You
but
are
they
correct.
Okay.
those padding on the back though, they can't be cut or changed and altered in any way.
Right.
Okay. And here in this slide here, you can see the difference of what's not legal versus what's legal. And it's like Al said, and you see it's wide receivers, DBs, they like to pull up those knee pads over their knees.
Yeah.
I don't know if it makes them faster or cooler, but they these are the guys we've got to, we've got to get these looked after. So when we're doing our pregame walk and the referees and umpires are meeting with the coaches to sign the card that the equipment's good, that's the time to be looking for the players on your pre-walk to see if they've got their pants hiked up and let them know that these pants got to be down before the game starts. All right.
One of the jobs of the umpire is to get the card signed. When the umpire is getting the card signed, he should be telling the head coach that you're signing that all your players are properly equipped and that if they're not, we're sending them off the field with a 10-yard penalty.
Yeah.
And maybe we should just add to that little speech. This does include knee pads, hip pads, tailbone protection, all the padding as per the rule.
You can send them off for those reasons, Paul, but only penalize them 5.
Only 5? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So good point, Paul. The only thing I'm going to tell you is that conversation in your pregame has to be had between the referee and the umpire. So you guys are on the same page when you're discussing this topic with the coaches. All right.
Yeah, that's when you get the waiver signed with the referee right there.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
And gentlemen, our focus should be during the pregame walk. This is all taken care of then. We should feel like we've done something wrong if we end up penalizing a team later on in the game.
Yeah.
Unless there's a kid that's
Okay.
just blatantly disregarding. But outside of that, this needs to be taken care of during the pregame walk.
They've had 2 years of warnings. If a player comes on the field without shoulder pads or without a helmet, same as knee pads, I want to penalize it.
Well, this is like Al said, this has been sent to Perry and it's been sent out to all the coaches. So there will be no surprises, or should be no surprises, when you bring this conversation up with the coaches on the pregame. Okay. Okay, this next section is around rules on the kicker. This was Al's presentation, but Al's driving. So I guess I will lead it off here, Al. And as we go through, if you have anything you want to add, please do. So this is Rule 7, Section 3, Article 3, unnecessary roughness against a punter, field goal kicker, or holder is illegal. Any excessive rough contact on the kicker, holder, or punter shall be ruled as unnecessary roughness regardless of where the contact is. If a player touches the ball prior to contacting the kicker's plant leg, they can still be called for roughing the kicker. And Al's got some videos here we're going to look at in a second. Note, any contact on the kicker's plant leg will be called UR. If a player makes contact with the ball and then hits the plant leg, UR. If he hits above the shoulders, we've got UR. To the body, the level of contact will determine the foul. Excessive or forceful equals UR. If a player attempts to not hit the kicker, you could possibly have contacting the kicker. If he brushes contact or there's a dive by the kicker, we've got no foul. So here's 4 clips. And just to give you an idea on this clip here, the Team B player comes from the right side. They do not touch the ball. They make contact with the kicker. The defender tries to limit contact. This should not be a UR. So let's just take a look at this video. Everybody see where that's coming from? This player right up here. We good there? Anybody got any questions about that video? He's not making direct contact with the kicker here. Okay. Clip number 2. Team B player comes from the right side. Team B player does touch the ball. The contact on the kicker is marginal. Due to the level of contact, it should be no foul. In the clip, even if there was no touching of the ball, no foul is an option. So let's take a look at this one. Okay, let's watch this again. So you can see he's trying to hold himself up. And the kicker trips over top of him. Does that make sense? Okay, clip 3, Team B rusher comes up the center. There is no contact of the ball. There is no contact of the plant leg. Team B makes no effort to limit their contact. The contact on the kicker is what would be considered forceful. A UR should be considered. Let's watch that again. So you can see him, he hit him up high here, taking him down to the ground. Any questions about this play?
And yes, he did get a UR on that play.
Yeah, he did. All right. Clip 4, rusher comes from the right side. Contact with the ball almost to the point of a block. No contact is made with the plant leg. Forceful contact to the kicker. This should always be a UR foul. Everybody clear on that one? Plant legs definitely hit here. He's in an unsafe position. It's definitely a UR penalty. Good. All right, let's have a little bit of, this is a bit of a roundtable conversation. And this is, we talk, Bill, you've led these discussions numerous times in the past, and that's being prepared for your assignment. Jack, I think he did something for us last year at playoffs time as far as preparing for a playoff assignment. So I asked for the membership to send some stuff in. And here's some basic stuff. So Matt Fillmore, review your mechanics, know your keys, know the rules of the league, which is important because, you know, you're working 9-man, 12-man, minor, AUS, AFL, all the league rules seem to be different or are different. So you got to make sure you know the rules of the league you're about to officiate. Know the teams and tendencies. Know your crew. Check the weather from Jack Kingston. Review signals and distance associated with each call. Ian Hebblethwaite. Know your responsibilities. Hydration. Something I never think about in my pregame. Start thinking about communication that you're going to be having with your crew members as well as coaches, depending on if you know you got a tough coach, start preparing for those tough conversations up front and make sure to check your gear, like Arliss says, because it's those first games of the year where we get on the field and whoops, no flag, whoops, no whistle. You know, it's happened to all of us. What are some other things that we can be doing to get prepared for our assignments coming up? Anything that's not on the list?
Sometimes just a review of particular rules that apply to your position. Like if you're on the line of scrimmage, the whole thing about offside procedure, illegal formation. If you're down deep, the punting rules, the kicking rules, pass interference rules, pass illegal interference, or all that stuff, illegal participation, stuff that pertains to your particular position on the field. Like a referee will have to concern himself with certain things, but a deep guy will confirm other things.
Yeah, absolutely. And one other thing I want to throw out there is film study is so important now. We have access to all kinds of different film. And if you go to the Google Drive, you'll be able to navigate. We've got a ton of videos uploaded there. So if you want to watch videos on offsides, pass interference, illegal contact, we have a bunch of videos right on the Google Drive. So like Andrew says, if you know you're going to have holding and, offsides, watch some film before you go to the field, right? It definitely shows on your your game performance.
Ray, if you can send out the link to that again, it would be helpful.
Sure. Yeah. Anybody else have anything they want to add here?
History tells me that you shouldn't get big burritos with hot sauce from a street vendor the night before a game. Just saying.
What history book is that in?
Same one that says, don't eat a full bag of cherries on the drive down to St. FX.
I think it's the book that says why we don't have white pants anymore.
Taking the old Andy Atkins.
So just one more thing for the prepared for your assignments. When you're on the downs box, make sure you know the proper mechanics for doing your quarter time changes. When that goes smooth, it's a thing of beauty. But when it goes wrong, oh, it looks horrendous.
Mm.
I think, Andrew, you had a couple good ones in our scrimmage at Tremble the other night. So well done on that.
And to add what Paul's saying, it becomes a distraction if you get messed up in that. And so then it becomes detrimental to both the individual and the crew, because it becomes a distraction if you mess something up like that.
Yeah. For sure. All right, let's keep moving. URs, OCs, and targeting. So remember, this rule is in the new rules. We covered this at the AGM this year, but I just wanted to recap it again tonight. Remember, if a player has 3 unnecessary roughness calls in a game, they're removed from play. Oh, wait. That player will be disqualified from the game. Three URs, they're disqualified from the game. Okay. If a player, coach, or any member of the team is assessed a second objectionable conduct during the game, they will be removed from play. Okay, so there's a difference between removed and ejected or disqualified. Okay. So we talked about this at the AUS level. It's a little bit different there, but I would definitely, if you're working on the sideline with the teams, and you've got a player with 2 URs or a player with an OC, you definitely want to be having communication with coaches to let them know 37 has 2 URs. If he gets one more, he'll be disqualified from the game. They should be tracking it themselves, but a good reminder might go a long way with the coaching staff. Okay. And then we've got the new OC for discrimination. And we went through all these subjects at the AGM. Again, when it comes to this penalty, when it comes to this objectionable conduct penalty, we've got to be smart when we're out on the football field. If you're out looking, for language, chances are you're going to find it. But is it the penalty that we should be throwing? If it does entail one of these areas, it's got to be like it's got to be it's got to be done in a fashion that it makes total sense that we've thrown this flag to have the player ejected. Andrew, you want to add anything to this? Oh, your mic's off. Your mic's off.
The new OC rule about discrimination, alluding to what Ray said, we need to be sure that we know what we heard and we know who and how it was directed. But if you are aware of that situation, there is no tolerance for that. That's
Right.
all I'd add to that.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything they want to add to this slide?
Just as you have on the bottom there, Ray, all the details. You need to know exactly what was said. You need to know the player who said it, and you need to know the player it was directed to. You
Yeah.
have to have all that information. Take the time, stop the play, get it written down, get it documented, so that at the end of the game, we're not going, oh yeah, was that number 43 or was that 34? So let's make sure you get everything documented very well at the time on the field. Then go talk to the coaches and explain what we have and remove the player.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
We had a meeting with Fundy Minor, and as this came up, and I said, what if you have two players on the same team of certain race using a certain word directed at each other? Is that something that you just kind of say, listen, guys, that's not everybody's comfortable hearing that word? Kind of tone it down a little bit. How do you?
Al, should you answer that question? Because you had a conversation with Murray about that very thing.
Okay, so I hope I'm on. Sorry, I had to disappear because I had a visitor stop me. Anyhow, if you look at the very first sentence, I believe it is in this rule where it talks about it being directed at an opponent as a taunt, so on. If we're talking about two players who are of the same color or the same race, and they are referring to each other in a cordial manner that we might not think is cordial, you need to consider that. There are people that type of language between each other is accepted. We might not see it that way, but for them, that's the way they converse with each other. So you have to make sure that it meets the three criteria at the beginning. The taunt, I can't remember what the three of them are right now, but that's a key thing to keep in mind.
Taunts, insults, and intimidation.
That's correct.
Okay. So last year, the MBIA, they really because I have to put together a weekly report that's sent to Perry and Allison, and we're tracking a lot of different things now. But OCs, if we have an OC called, you can't just put OC on the penalty card anymore. You got to tell me OC, language towards an official, language towards an opponent, language towards the bench, or vice versa, language coming from the bench. UR, you can't just put UR on the card anymore. You got to tell us what the UR is for. Okay. All that information is very important, especially heading into 2023. Okay.
Ray, can I interject one thing here?
Yeah.
We kind of dropped the ball in this last year. There is a regulation within, and this is only high school football, folks. There is a regulation in high school football. If we call a UR penalty, basically that involves the head, which is 7, 8, and 16, I think.
Right.
Then that player goes off for 3 plays, and we're supposed to go tell the coach why he's off. If that same player commits another foul of such nature, he no longer plays in that game. And this all has to be recorded and sent in to Ray at the end of the game, because the league follows this. Because if player number 21 from team number whatever gains so many of these fouls throughout the year, they get suspended for a game. So we kind of dropped the ball on that last year. So keep that in mind, Ray. It might not be a bad idea to remind people that in an email for those who aren't here tonight. the protocol there. One play, one foul, 3 plays. The second foul, you get to watch the rest of the game. That's in their regulations.
But I'm wondering, Andrew, because
Yes.
I do remember that from last year, and I remember we had this conversation about that we weren't administering those rules. But I'm wondering with the new rules of 3 URs and 2 OCs.
But this is different, Ray, because these are URs that only involve the head.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right.
7, 8, and 16 are all involving a helmet, one way or another.
It's right in the NBIA handbook. Too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So these are head fouls. Anytime you have a head foul, which is your defenseless player foul, or spearing, or head leading, blocking, or tackling, those are the 3 fouls. That kid is supposed to sit out for 3 plays, and we take him to the bench and explain to the coach why he's out. And if he does a second offense in that same game, he no longer plays in that game.
Andrew, that's not just in high school. That's also in age group in their head out of the game protocol.
Well, it's a little different under the
Well, it's a little.
NBFOA head out of the game. Yeah, it's similar, but it's not exactly the same.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get that summarized up.
Yeah,
and sent
because
out.
we dropped the ball on that last year.
Okay.
I did one of my games because I didn't send a kid off for 3 plays.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think of it. And then later someone mentioned it and I said, oh yeah, right. So
Well, I can tell you right now that I didn't follow that mechanic either. So
just a reminder.
So Andrew, we'll get you to summarize that up to me and then I'll send that out. All right, let's move on here. Game reports. So this is for white hats. My biggest thing I'm asking white hats is please use the game report sheet that we have on the Google Drive. It looks good in case I need to send it into the NBIA for a particular reason. And when you send me your game reports, please save them in a format that's easy for me to file. So team date or date team. If you can see my example here. Moncton High versus Odyssey, September 8th, 2003. It's super easy for me to find that game report if something comes up a couple weeks later and they need it. So if you could save it that way, that would be great. Here's one thing, and I know this isn't going to be popular with all white hats, but Perry is asking for game reports 24 hours after the game's been played. So I've told him we'll try our best. It's really tough if you've worked a Thursday night game, you got a Friday night game, you're on the road Saturday and you're working minor Sunday. I totally get it. But if it's possible that you can get me these reports within 24 hours this year, I would much appreciate it. And like I said already, just make sure that OCs as well as any ejection, make sure we have all the details on that. And remember, there's that incident report. So if you're removing a player from play, we got to fill out that incident report as well. And again, try to get me as much detail as possible so I can relay that to Perry and Allison.
Ray, my 2 cents. I think we should set the expectation. We'll have those reports in by Monday, unless there was an incident. I think that would be fair.
Yeah. See, the reason why they want it in 24 hours is in case it's in case there is an ejection. And last year we had an ejection on a game on a Friday night, and before the game was even over, the coach had started initiation, or he had initiated an appeal. He initiated appeal and wanted it overturned, and I didn't have the report till Tuesday, and it just puts pressure because Their next game is Saturday, and they need to get this resolved ASAP so they know if their kid's playing or not. So that's why they're asking for our game reports quicker.
Yeah, as I said, unless there's an incident,
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah.
But anyway, I hear you.
Yeah. All right. One thing I said that we were going to try to do this year, and we were able to pull it off. But here is your week 1 assignments. There's no 9-man ball. They don't start till next weekend. So this is the assignments for the 12-man ball. And I will email this out to everybody as well. Okay. So you'll get this out as well tonight. So we have some good crews to kick off the year. And should be we should have some good games this weekend. Remember, these kids are going to be amped up to play football. So let's get on them quick and early and try to keep them focused on playing football. Okay. So that's basically all I have. Now that I've got 2 more videos I'm going to show you.
Ray, before you roll those,
Yeah.
my apologies, guys, that I got stopped and couldn't finish up. Were there any questions related to the 4 videos, the clips on roughing the kicker? Going once, going twice. Perfect. Thank you.
The only thing I'll add, there was no questions on the videos. There was one statement before the videos, Ray. Folks, just keep in mind, if there is contact on the ball, by rule, you cannot have contacting the kicker. You can have roughing the kicker. You cannot have contacting the kicker. So that's a little differentiation you got to be aware of. Okay.
Good point. Thank you.
All right. So this is a play from last week's Mount A game. And this is just to let you know anything can happen in week 1. Okay. Anything can happen in week 1. For most of the AUS guys, we've seen it, but let's roll this film. It's not the greatest quality on the side angle. So I'm going to show you both angles. We've got a punt from Mount A to start off this play.
And notice the
10
score,
seconds.
folks, and how much time's on the clock. That's critical to what's going on here.
It was at that point someone said the OF word.
So if you didn't notice that, we had 3 punts on one play. All right, let's go to the next one here. All right. What do you guys think after seeing that play? What are some things like the second you see a punt, you've got a ton of responsibilities. But when that punt returner decides to punt it back to the other end of the field, what are some things we should be thinking about right off the bat as a crew?
No yards.
No
Yeah.
yards. Absolutely. No yards.
Who's onside?
Onside. Somebody's got to pick that up. Somebody's got to pick that up.
Should it be blowing dead?
Should it be blown dead?
Also on the return kick, who was the person that actually kicked the ball? Right. So in this case, it was number 8, Acadia, that kicked it back, and he busted his butt down there to try to get that ball. So if he jumped on that ball, I hope somebody knew that he was the one that kicked it.
Yeah.
I said I mentioned the potential for blowing it dead. This is not a play that should have been blown dead. And I said this at our AUS meeting, but I also sent it to some other people who questioned me about it. We covered this play. The crew covered the play really, really well, and probably because of good luck, more so than good management.
So the only thing I would add to this, guys, is situational awareness. Be aware there's very little time on the clock. There's a 1 point difference in the game. And just be aware of what could happen. It won't necessarily happen. What could happen, so that it doesn't become a major surprise when it does happen.
Right. And the other thing, I mean, Bill, you said this many years ago, and I've heard it numerous times. If anything is going to go wrong, it's going to be on a kicking play. So just, you know, like Andrew said, know the score, know the time, and be ready for anything, because it can happen. All right. That's all I
I'd just
really.
like to add one more thing. Can I add one more thing?
Go ahead,
Be
Pat.
aware of important lines, right?
Yeah.
Dead ball, beware the dead ball line, beware the goal line. No, because that ball made it into the end zone, we could potentially have points scored now. If it made it out of the end zone or didn't make it back out of the end zone, we could still have points. So something to be aware of.
Yeah, for sure. So that's really the material that I have for tonight. I want to try to keep these meetings to 1 hour if possible. Now, when we get into our game reviews next week, we don't need to talk about every play in the game, but pick out a couple of those plays that you want to talk about. And if you can get those to me in advance, then I might be able to get Al to pull the film on it. Okay, so if you have a play in a game similar to something like this, take a note on your penalty card. You should all be carrying penalty cards. Take a note on a card of the time in what quarter, and we'll do our best to get that film pulled for our Monday night meeting.
I know Patrick had mentioned it earlier. Have we found out what format we're using for high school? Are they using Huddle? I know the 9-a-side's not. But...
The 9-a-side's not. I believe we are using the Huddle for high school, because we all got emails this week. Did everybody get an email from Huddle that you've been added to? Did you get that this week, Al?
I don't recall getting it. I get them continuously, but I don't recall getting one.
Okay,
I didn't get anything.
There was some email that came out, letting me know that we had access to the Huddle account this week. I'll look for that email and send it to you. All right, so before
High school half times, 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. I believe we went 15 minutes in the playoffs.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't trust me, Fowler?
I always trust you, Jack. I just wanted verification of how right you were.
This is the time, guys. The season, I mean, it begins Thursday. If you have any questions or anything you want to talk about before we end this call tonight, now's the time to do it. Does anybody have anything they want to talk about or any questions before we end this call tonight?
Ray, I believe you're correct on the halftime, and I hope you're correct. You might want to confirm that with Perry, because there was some indecision about that a couple of years ago about whether it was 10 or 15.
Okay.
And it should be 10, whether it is or not. You might want to confirm that with Perry, just so that we're on the same page as the coaches.
Okay. So Perry. Halftime.
Sly Edmonds did confirm it was 10.
It's funny. It's the particular schools that try different things. Like Sackville will tell us it's 15. You know, any school that's got a long walk to the locker room, they're going to try to tell us it's 15. Okay. So I'll get Perry to confirm that and then send an email out to the coaches with that information. And I will update that before our game on Thursday.
Is this going to be loaded onto the Facebook page or the YouTube page?
You too.
Okay, thank you.
I would really appreciate all the crews this week. Get a pregame picture with your crew. I'd love to get that stuff up on social media. Especially this fall, I'm going to be reaching out to some of the local camera people and let them know we want pictures this year. So, you know, keep your uniform tight and tucked in, because you could be on you could be on Facebook and Instagram before you know it. All right.
Tight, but
Ray.
not too tight.
Ray,
Yes.
question for you. This year, the dress code, is it still a polo shirt, or are we going shirt and tie?
So we talked about this last year, and if I remember correctly, Ian's not on the call tonight because he'd have this at his fingertips in a matter of seconds. But I believe at the AGM, we decided we were going business casual.
That is my understanding.
Yeah.
Which is?
No
Collared,
jeans.
collared shirt, no blue jeans.
Okay.
Look presentable. Look like you're there. You mean business.
And Al, have your pants pulled up so they cover your underwear.
Ah, damn. You just got a new belt that lets them hang down lower.
The tie
That
is
was
dead,
an-
my friends.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That was a nasty crack.
Anything else before we end this call tonight? Anything else anybody wants to bring up?
Just one final thing with regards to the knee pads. There are some players, and this was a case with one or two players on Tremble, really tall kids, and they have their pads are sewn into their pants. So when this kid stands upright, the pants don't go all the way down. So he pulls the pants down, but as he starts running, they come up. We're not flagging that because he is making the effort. What we are flagging, though, is when you tell the kid to pull them down and he turns around and immediately pulls them back up intentionally.
Yeah.
That should be
No, they're two different things.
Yep.
If
One is an
if you
intentional
pull them
act.
down and then you pull them back up, that's an OC and you're going, and that's a 10. By the interpretation that was sent out, that everybody now has a copy of, that tall kid needs a different set of knee pads. That's what the CFOA sent out. I don't know why. I wish they didn't, but that's what the interpretation is going forward.
Right. But when he starts to play, if his knees are covered, and then the pants are right up during the running.
All I'm going to say, what does that interpretation say?
Fair enough.
We're not looking for
We're not looking for
opportunity to
fouls.
throw flags, folks. Keep that in mind.
Right.
Right?
And as I told 3 kids tonight in the scrimmage that Pat officiated, that, you've got to get them down. You got to unroll them, those who don't, or get a pair of pants that fit you properly. Because you might, on some evening, have a crotchety guy referee who's going to penalize you for it, and all coaches already know them. Like Andrew said, we don't want to go looking for it, but these are the instructions we're being told we're supposed to abide by. Anyhow, that's my 2 cents worth. 5 cents, I guess.
All right. Last call for anything else.
Have fun.
Have fun out there.
Be prepared, and it'll make it a fun experience.
One of the things
A great weekend, guys.
One of the things I didn't put on this presentation tonight is the mechanics. And that is because those mechanics are all on that Google Drive. So I've had numerous people over the last couple of days ask me I've resent them the link to the Google Drive. Jack, I'll get you tonight afterwards. But if you're having any problems with the Google Drive, reach out to me. We'll do a Zoom. I'll walk you through it. It's very easy once you've gone in there a couple times and played with it.
Hey, Ray, sorry. I have issues when I try to print off the mechanics for five crew.
Okay.
even when I download it as a PDF and stuff like that. Like it's weird because I could read it. Like if it's like you and me on the computer right now, I can read it. But when I go to print it, even if I change things around or like the only thing I resorted to was just taking a screenshot of it.
Well, what if you were to like, and I don't know why that would be an issue. Like if you download it, you should have access. So do you have Microsoft Office on your computer?
Yeah.
So when you download it, you should get the option of putting it into a Microsoft Office document. And if you don't, you should be able to just select all the material and then drop it into
it just looks it's where people's alignment goes weird. So, but
Okay.
I can read it online, so it's not an issue. It's just more.
So what I'll do for you, Andrew, is I'm 99% sure I've got a copy on my laptop, and I'll send you a copy of a hard copy or a soft copy that you can print. Okay.
Cheers. Appreciate it, Ray.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great first week of the season, and let's go. Let's be the best team out there.
Oh, you still on?
I'm just going to end the recording here.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you in town Friday, or are you going to be in